Greetings from the Red Blue Enigma. It's no secret that my own Mario Origin animatic took inspiration from various Mario media over the years. The first draft was made as far back as 2010, so it's evident I took no cues from the Illumination 2023 film. I did definitely homage some scenes from the live-action 90s film. I'll leave it to the viewer to decide what elements were derived from there, but I'll just preview one moment. However, the average viewer may not know that there is a third Mario film that exists. I took the MacGuffin Hunt from that film and applied it to the second half of my film. The film in discussion is very weird and gets pretty crazy though. Despite that, I think it's a fine movie, this one. It's called Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. It's been on my mind a lot, so today we'll be covering the character arcs of the lead character in the 3 Mario movies and see how they compare. Spoilers will follow, so be sure to watch the anime on YouTube before proceeding with this video. Actually, it may behoove you to see this to know what you're getting into. You can also watch the 90s movie here too, but I should note that I won't be discussing it for long. To start, let's look at the arc of Mario in the 2023 film. The thing is, and this applies to most media involving Mario, including my own, he's actually rather stagnant in terms of character growth. He remains the same character from beginning to end. Most stories revolve around testing his resolve. We all know Mario is determined and will stop at nothing to defeat evil that crosses him. Well, that's what you assume after watching his media, not so much the games. So what was 2023 Mario's ultimate test? Well, I'd say it was at the end when he had to face Bowser one last time in Brooklyn, weakened and tattered. This moment showed his resolve and was a fairly good showcase. The issue arises here is that no one really calls his resolve into question before this scene. Bowser taunts him, sure, but the main contention that is set up in the movie is Mario's father calling his son's competency into question, a point of which is never satisfactorily resolved. Sure, the end of the movie has Mario's father proud of him, but this is the result of his determination and some luck. Mario's competency never factored into his victory. As a matter of fact, I can kind of point out that his competency was lacking in most cases. For one example, he could have tried to ram Bowser with a truck or do anything other than literally stand in front of Bowser and call him out. But I digress. So regardless of whether or not you feel Mario deserves his father's praise, the question then becomes what it means to Mario. The end of the movie has a fake-out scene where the Mario Brothers seem to be awakening in Brooklyn, but it turns out to be a new house set in the Mushroom Kingdom. This is a pivotal character moment, yet the movie does nothing to explain his or Luigi's decision. If Mario getting his father's approval was so important to him, you think he might consider staying in his hometown once he had it. But unfortunately, the story can only leave the audience with conjecture, and they still could have had an audience fake out if they decided to show his reasoning in a flashback. This left me rather disappointed. But did any of the other films add more? Well, let's take a look at the 90s film that follows closer to the Plumbers from Brooklyn angle. Honestly, there isn't much to say here. The film has Mario have a rather strong resolve throughout. He gets more nervous and even Luigi is more brazen, but he's still determined. Honestly though, his agency doesn't really guide the movie. He is smart quite a few times, so there's that. The only real significant arc one could say happens is Toadstool assuming the responsibilities of her heritage, but that applies to Toadstool. Mario is pretty content with his life in Brooklyn and there's no controversy about his place. So then we finally move to the anime. Here, Mario is a shopkeeper. It doesn't seem exciting, but he gets a call to action and is actually rather cowardly. When noted as being a figure in prophecy to save the Mushroom Kingdom, he and Luigi try to get out of it. Only when Mario realized the princess needed saving is when we see his usual determination come about. Luigi tags along for the money, and this might be the earliest ever depiction of Luigi outside of a comic, so they could do whatever they wanted with him. So Mario only seemed to care when someone he liked was in peril, and had designs to marry the princess almost like she were a prize, which seems quite self-centered, honestly. Both bros don't seem to come off in much of a positive light. This Mario graded by mostly on luck, so his competency was neither high nor low, although there is that one strange moment where before the finale there's a bowl of ramen that appears out of nowhere to distract him. Yeah, the movie was strange. Regardless, it's at the end, after all the effort Mario goes through, that he finds out that his prize is denied. Peach is betrothed, unbeknownst to her, and there's nothing they can do about it. Here Mario is truly tested, and he tells her how happy he is for her, despite his heartbreak. His love was put under fire, and he accepted it with grace. Even the prophecy seems to affirm this, depending on the translation. Though many will hate the ending due to it splitting up the shipping of Mario and Peach, it would be too simple and cliche if he ended up with her to close the film. For that reason, I posit that this Mario has the best character journey of the three movies. Those Mario's love was, in essence, static, and the audience never really got to see it questioned. It was an impactful moment to see it be genuine. As for the other side of the coin, he had little reason to abandon his shop, so the movie shows the bros go back together. Making an issue out of that is outside the movie's scope, which isn't bad, but I always like it to be a conundrum. So that's a wrap on analyzing Mario from the official movies. All in all, one I find serviceable, the 2023 film, but the story leaves me a bit confused. One I find plain, but enjoyable enough, that would be the 90s film. The last I get a blast out of by watching it, that would be the 80s anime. By the end of the day, there is no objective metric to determine which is the best, so that begs the question, what more could you do to make Mario have a compelling character journey? Well, to answer that, I'll briefly cover some key moments in my own Mario movie, the Mario Origin, set in my legendary universe. As stated before, Mario's not the character that needs to undergo major change, so you'll find he stays rather determined throughout most of the story. It's his relationship with his brother that causes the most character drama. Luigi is mostly confounded with his brother's seemingly very different appreciation for their hoe, so much so that he ends up resenting his brother's gun-ho attitude, which leads to the following clash, of which I'll only show a snippet of.
Mario, this is your life we're talking about! Something of which I'm not sure you care about anymore.
I do care about it! I care about it enough to make it count! Nothing, not one thing ever felt more right. Not when we started the plumbing business.
And whereas this moment caused tension, they reconcile long enough to achieve victory. After the fact, Luigi is still perplexed by Mario's lack of appreciation for Brooklyn, and this is the poignant character moment for Mario where he sees appreciation for something his brother doesn't want to. This is the relevant character drama I appreciate for Mario, and I wanted to flip the concept of him wanting to leave the Mushroom Kingdom on its head, but organically. I hope whoever decides to watch the Mario Origin can enjoy the character work as much as I. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Red Blue Enigma. I hope to have many more conversations someday down the pipeline and to continue inspiring others and making stories. Thanks for watching.